I know those of you who follow the JOSHLIN Smith trial were very happy to see Judge and team, Judge Nathan Erasmus, back inside Pagati within the court to finalize the last part of the JOSHLIN Smith trial, which is the big question that everybody wants to know. Is he going to grant Laurentia Lombaard a Section 204 witness? The witness who sold out the others and then they got convicted and they have life sentences? Yes, her. So she was also one of the accused in the case. And then she turned into a state witness. When you turn into a state witness, they now call you a Section 204 witness. I believe at the same time, she's benefiting from the slush fund. What does that mean? We know about the slush fund from Paul O'Sullivan. Well, at least we've always known there's a slush fund, but now we know the amount. It's 600 million rands a year. I believe she's one of those people who benefit from it because you can see a stark difference from Laurentia Lombaard arrested to Laurentia Lombaard, the 204 witness. Let me tell you, she was in court, full makeup. She even had blush on her cheeks. She had braids in her hair this time, looking very, very, very off substances, if I do say so myself. And she, of course, had a woman seated beside her, I believe, and she was always there at the other courtroom in Saldanha Bay, but they never sat together. Anytime she had to leave the courtroom, they would immediately they wouldn't put her in handcuffs, but they would kind of walk her out the court, like very heavily guarded, in my opinion. Anyway, the point of all this that I'm saying is that Laurentia Lombaard was back in court today. And let me just give you a little bit of history. So when she became a Section 204 witness, she gave her witness testimony, wait for it, to the investigating officer, and his name is Wesley Lombard. Yeah, none relation to each other. But the investigating officer did the statement that she gave that eventually got the conviction for the state. So when she did that, she always had legal representation from legal aid. At some point, she got too excited, okay? And then she said to legal aid, no, I don't need legal representation. I'm going to be just fine. I don't know where she got that excitement from. And she dismissed her legal representation against the state's advice. And then when she was inside the court again, the state asked the judge, the court, Judge and team, listen, we've told her she needs legal representation. She insists on doing this without legal representation. Judge, can you reiterate to her the importance of legal representation? Judge and team, as you all know, Judge and team, you can never make me hate him, okay? It was just good to be back in his courtroom. And he's the one who actually explained what happened and why court hadn't been in session and why it's been over 2 months of us waiting for this portion. I'll get to that in a second. So then, during the trial, when Laurentia was a witness in the witness box, the judge, per the state's request, checked Laurentia Lombaard's mental state. Is she able to do this? Is she doing this freely? Does she understand that she's not guaranteed, okay, that the charges will be dropped? It all lies on the judge. The judge is the one who makes that final decision. And most importantly, where's your legal representation? You need to have legal representation. And she says, no, I'm good, I'm fine. So based on that assessment, the judge deemed her fit to make a decision all on her own. And that's it. Court continued. So she did that portion, her witness portion, without legal representation. In my opinion, she shouldn't have done that, and I said that in my previous videos while she was on the stand, because then you saw when the tough got going, she didn't have anyone to stand up and say, we object. Objection, my lord. Withdraw that question, dun, okay? There was nobody for her. She was all on her own. Let that be a lesson to you if ever you are in a legal debacle. If you have legal aid, legal representation, make sure you use them, okay? Make sure you use them. So what then transpired is that Laurentia Lombaard gave her witness testimony. Then we never saw her again. Today's literally the first time we've seen her again since her witness testimony. Her witness testimony played a huge part in the conviction of Kelly Smith, JOSHLIN Smith's mother, biological mother that is, Buddha, the boyfriend, and Steffi, the friend. Okay? I hope you are still following. Let me know in the comment section. Drop a 1 in the comment section if you were originally watching the case from its inception with Judge Ndim. By the way, if you don't know why I call him Judge Ndim, it's got to do with an exchange he had. He's actually Judge Nathan Arasmus. That's his official, a name on his birth certificate and his ID. On this channel, we call him Judge Ndim. Just because when Mkabai of Mkabai Associates, Advocate Mkabai of Mkabai Associates, was giving one of her applications, and she had to give case law. She cited case law, and the case law that she cited, the judge asked her, "Do you know the judge that presided over that case?" And she says, "No, she doesn't." How do you cite case law and you don't know the judge? The most embarrassing moment, because she was using that case to justify her client or get her client off, right? And the case law that she cited, and this was in her closing arguments, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm just going by memory here, guys. The case law that she cited, how do you cite a case law in an attempt to get your client discharged as not guilty, and you don't even know the judge who presided over that case? Unfortunately for her, the judge who presided that case was Judge Nathan Arasmus. So it's like preaching to the choir, right? She was telling Judge Nathan about this ruling and what happened and how the judge thought about XYZ, only to find out that the judge is right there, right in front of you. And then the judge says, "You know what? I'm just gonna break it to you, because you're not even doing my case justice. Okay, you're not even doing my judgment justice." The judge in that case was Ndim. That's what he literally said. And then from then on, I just started calling him Judge Ndim because that was such a hilarious moment. I'm going to look for the clip and see if I can play it for you guys. And then another moment in that case, after he said it was I, Judge Ndim, Judge Nathan Erasmus, it was just embarrassing for Advocate Mkabai of Mkabai Associates. And why do I say Advocate Mkabai of Mkabai Associates? Just in case you haven't been following the original trial, she always said that. Anytime she had to stand up and introduce herself, she always introduced herself and her firm. Listen, I don't blame her. Plug your company, ma'am. I mean, it is what it is, but I always found it hilarious. So, back to court inside Phakathi today. Remember, Laurentia Lombaard did the witness in Dontoni and said she did not need a lawyer. Told legal aid, no, I don't need a lawyer. And legal aid is not the department you want to tell that kind of situation, okay? So she dismissed her legal representation. And legal aid said, "Whoop, say no more. I mean, that's a budget saving for us. We're fine with that." And then now that they were back in court today, the judge explains to us what happened between Laurentia Lombaard and legal aid. So if you follow the Mzansi trial as well, drop a 2 in the comment section because you already know what happened. I'll give you a hint. Umuzi Severe, accused number 1 in the Mzansi trial. So let's go ahead. I'm going to play Judge Nathan's clip. I'll be back with the rest of my commentary.
Mr. Paulus.
Good morning, my lord. Kabali from Kabaya Tennis, appearing on behalf of Mr. Stephen Opandrain in this matter. Confirm that these are to the instructions. Thank you, my lord.
Good morning, my lord. I confirm that I shall appear on behalf of Q2.
Good morning, my lord. Eben van Toorn, I'm appearing on behalf of Section 204 witness, Ms. Lombard.
Good morning, everyone. Just a few housekeeping and some explanations on the process so that everybody knows how we're going to do it. I see there's still some space in the second row. So if any members of the media, people that want to come closer, you may utilize that space. I know that the area behind the cameras on the left, that's normally reserved for the media, is quite small and you can't see from there, so feel free to utilize that space. Some concern this morning that the message went out that the court will start at 9. Courts in Cape Town start at 10. It was only when I sat out in Saldanha that we started earlier, just to clear that confusion. There's been some delay in scheduling this hearing, as we had to synchronize the diaries of everybody and to get the logistics in place. The main issue for the delay was that Mr. Van Tonder, who appeared for Ms. Lombard in the preparatory phase of her becoming a Section 204 witness, had no further mandate from Legal Aid South Africa to appear on her behalf. We attempted to secure instructions at my insistence for Mr. Van Tonder to appear on Ms. Lombard's behalf. That failed. I then requested Mr. Van Tonder as an officer of the court to offer his services pro bono to assist Ms. Lombard. And I'm indebted to Mr. Van Tonder in agreeing to assist Ms. Lombard further in the process. I will therefore deal with the two issues in the following sequence. I will hear argument from Mr. Van Tonder as to why I should grant Ms. Lombard the indemnity in terms of Section 204 of the Criminal Procedure Act. And then I will excuse Mr. Van Tonder after he has made his input. Then I will proceed with the arguments on the applications for leave to appeal, starting with Mr. Harmse, and then hear the state on both aspects, being the applications for leave to appeal, as well as their stance on the question of indemnity. The indemnity inquiry is a separate inquiry, and both the state and Ms. Lombard has an interest in that outcome. Therefore, the state needs to be heard on that. The primary reason for Ms. Lombard having to be represented, in my view, is because it affects her rights. And in order to give her a fair hearing, I insisted that she be legally represented. Any other housekeeping, Ms. Sonnepoel?
And there you heard it yourself, out of Judge Ndim's mouth himself. Okay, he asked. After legal aid, South Africa said, no, 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 absolutely not. We are not resuming our mandate and paying for Laurentia Lombard's legal fees, because when we were paying happily at that, she said she didn't need it. And because she said she didn't need it, her file has been closed and we are no longer interested. The judge begged and begged and begged legal aid, and legal aid said, no, we are not budging. Okay, trust me, we are not budging. We do this many times in other cases. It's not our thing. Once she leaves, once you leave, you leave. Once you leave for your own whatever situation you're doing, it is it. Your file is closed. And the judge, being a fair man, was not willing to have Laurentia Lombard in his courtroom unrepresented. Judge Ndim, who I believe, let me know in the comment section if you think I'm wrong, is not one of the judges that are being implicated by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi in KZN, in the tiny little corner of KZN, when he says that the judiciary is captured. I don't think Judge Ndim is definitely one of them. He would not proceed with this hearing without Laurentia having legal representation. And he himself seeked out her lawyer, who was her lawyer at the time when legal aid was paying, Advocate Eben van Tonder. And he said to him, can you please do this pro bono? I mean, what else could you possibly say if Judge Dim asks you? He has that charisma, he has that personality. I myself too, I would do it pro bono just because the judge asked me. And flowers for Advocate Van Tonder. He did it. He represented Laurentia Lombard today, pro bono. And if you don't know what that means free of charge. He did all the work. And you know, if you're following the Senzo Mewa trial, That's a bone of contention right now inside Pagati with legal aid as well. So, legal aid, this is not their first rodeo. They do this any chance given to not represent anyone, not pay the bill. Any chance given, they take it with both hands. So basically, the judge said to Advocate Van Tonda, I am indebted to you. So, usually it's the other way around where the advocates say, I am indebted to the court. Today we heard the judge say, I'm indebted to you. Thank you so much for representing Laurentia Lombaard pro bono. But does that mean the judge favors Laurentia Lombaard and he's going to discharge her? You'll have to wait for part 2 when I break this down for you of what happened in court today. Let me end this video here because it's now getting too long and I don't want to make it too long. I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to start the next video and let you know what exactly happened in court, what Mr. Van Tonda said about Laurentia Lombaard, what happened next, and so on and so on and so on. All right? So thank you so much. If you've made it this far in the video, you absolutely have my heart. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video as well so others know the JOSHLIN Smith case was back inside the courtroom today to listen in on the arguments with regards to Laurentia Lombaard, the 204 witness, and if the judge should grant her indemnity. I know I didn't explain indemnity. For those of you who don't know, indemnity means basically she walks off scot-free, no charges, for being a Section 204 witness. That is a witness who helped the state get a conviction for the kidnapping and trafficking of JOSHLIN Smith, the 6-year-old girl at the time of her disappearance. Thank you so much for watching. I'll end this video right here. I'll catch you on my next upload. Thank you. Bye.